on my mission, I was fortunate enough to see a lot of cool miracles and have a lot of cool spiritual experiences, and also a few crazy, dangerous ones as well. One of my favorite experiences from my mission goes along the lines of those spiritual miracles that we were able to see. One in the month of April in 2016, which was the last year that I was on my mission. I was just about ready to head home, but our mission president gave us a challenge, a mission-wide challenge. And up to that point, our mission had a few struggles in the past, and in 2014 and 2015 with getting baptisms, we were just struggling a little bit. However, thanks to our obedience and just continuing to work hard, the Lord was able to bless us, and we were starting to see more and more baptisms as the year of 2016 began. And in the month of April of 2016, our mission president got the inspiration that he should issue the mission a challenge, and he did it with a promise. And he promised us that if everyone was exactly obedient and spoke with everyone and saw everyone with the eye of faith, which is one very important thing that our mission really stressed and emphasized, was seeing others with the eye of faith, seeing them how God sees them, and envisioning them in the temple and being baptized. With that eye of faith, anything is possible. So our mission president promised us that if we were exactly obedient, and that if we followed the Spirit, and if we saw others with that eye of faith, that every companionship in the mission would have at least one baptism in the month of April. And so as a mission, we were really excited. We had just gotten a promise from one of the Lord's elected officials, our mission president, and he promised us that if we did those few things, that everyone would have a baptism in the month of April. And so in the month of April, as a mission, we got to it. We started working hard. We put a lot of baptismal dates, and a lot of companionships saw miracles and started seeing investigators getting baptized, going through with those baptismal dates that we were putting with them on the first lesson. And it was a really neat experience. And as it got closer to the end of April, there were still a few companionships that were struggling to maybe find investigators, or that were having a hard time completing with the goal. And I remember our mission president took a few of us aside, and we decided to start going out on splits with those companionships that were struggling a little bit. And we would start each split, or every time we'd go visit an area, we'd start with a prayer, and we'd just start looking for people, contacting those investigators, or talking with the ones who had the highest probability of getting baptized. And we, in those last 2 weeks, we saw so many miracles. It was honestly astounding. As we'd go out and visit other areas in the mission, I honestly could feel angels going with us in the car, visiting those areas. And it was really neat experience. One of the areas that we visited where we were going and helping companionships complete with this goal was in the city, in a zone called Osama. And we went there and started talking with the missionaries who were struggling, and it was kind of later in the night. It was around 8 o'clock, so there was really only 1 hour left of proselyting time. But we called the zone leaders, and we got the whole zone involved with the permission of our mission president, of course. We got this whole zone involved, and as a whole zone, we went to this one area that was struggling to find a person to baptize in the month of April, and we just started searching. We started talking to the bishop and members of people that we could teach and people that could be ready to be baptized in the month of April. And actually that night, we came up empty-handed. And we were pretty disappointed about that, because all of us were hoping to see a miracle just right then and there. However, looking back, we could all realize that the Lord was teaching us patience, and He was really showing us that it was Him doing the work, that it was through Him that everything was possible. A lot of times as missionaries, sometimes you can make the mistake of being prideful or get a big head, that you are the one making the difference, or that it's you that's converting the people. However, that's a big mistake. It's really the Spirit and the Lord whose work it is, and He's the one in charge, and He'll do it His way. And as missionaries, it's really important that you follow what He says and follow the Spirit, and that's how you'll you'll be able to find the people who He's prepared for you. So that night, we came up empty-handed. We didn't find anyone to be baptized for that following weekend, the last week in April. However, later that night, we went back to our area. We were planning for the next day, and we got a call from the companionship in that area that we had just gone to visit. And they gave us a call. We answered the phone, and we say, elders, give us the news, what's up? And they told us that actually a member gave them a call right as they were planning as well and said, hey, I've just spoken with 2 girls. Their parents are less actives, and they're both older than 8 years old. One was 11 and one was 12, if I'm correct. And the member said, and I just spoke with them, and they say they want to be baptized. And so the missionaries, of course, of this area were bouncing off the walls, gave us a call, and we were all just ecstatic. And sure enough, that next weekend, they were able to be baptized. Before that, they had already heard the lessons of the missionaries, so the missionaries just had to go over and give a quick recap. And for whatever reason, when those 2 sisters, the 2 daughters, were receiving the lessons for the first time, for some reason, the missionaries lost contact with them, or I don't know what the exact reason was, but they weren't able to be baptized when they were first meeting with the missionaries. So this second time around, when this companionship was able to meet with them and teach them the lessons, go over everything, they knew it all. They were ready to be baptized, and the whole ward got behind it as well, and they were able to be baptized just a week later, and they were able to get within the month of April. And actually, as a mission, we actually came short of fulfilling the goal of having every companionship get a baptism. We actually fell short by just 5 areas. And at first, when we found out that we were just a few areas short of meeting the goal, at first we were pretty disappointed. We all had high faith that we were going to meet the goal because we had been promised so by our mission president. However, in a meeting that was probably one of the most spiritual and one of the most impactful meetings that I've had in my life, we were able to break down why we thought we didn't complete with the promise and the goal to baptize, to have every single companionship in the mission baptize someone. And looking back, we realized that there were actually a few things that we had done wrong. Some of us weren't being as obedient as we should have, and as a mission as a whole, we needed to raise our level of obedience and be a little bit more obedient. And as we continued to be more exactly obedient, later that year we did see more miracles, and we were able to baptize even more people that we baptized in the month of April. And that was a very spiritual and sacred experience that we shared in the month of April.